Hi, it's Kenjamin. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to update everything we know and have learned in 4 months since race has been a game type in Halo 5. All of the information we've gathered from websites and other forgers and other race map makers from all around the Halo community. Thanks to everyone who helped. Our video today has got script details, specific information to help veteran forgers and experienced map makers adjust the custom settings in a race game type. We've got a full map build from a blank race map to a finished ready to run 5 checkpoint map with checkpoints spawning and the brain tree setup. We've also included a piece with a start gate blocker. A lot of people wanted to add that to their maps, and then we run a couple test laps to show you how all the tricks work. Remember, Halo 5 was introduced in a beta in December of 2014. 2015 it was released in October. In December of 2015 the Forge hit. This is me waiting a year for my favorite game to give me my favorite game type. In December, 4 months ago, they finally do. They give us King of the Hill and Race and custom games and some really cool Forge scripting items. I like the Forge. I love Race. I've been waiting a long time to get this. Reach and Halo 4 had Race. 343 waited a year to bring it into Halo 5. The forgers I know, map makers, racers, jumped into those maps, grabbed those pieces and tried to figure out how does it work? How can I use it on my maps? Back at 343, Tom French and his minions pack up their stuff into their warthogs, all tricked out, and drive off into the sunset to Halo 6. Hopefully with nice offices. Digging through the ditches and burning through the witches. We get the brain tree and are a little confused by it. But it controls the whole race game type. 9 brains, 1 terminal. Let's make it happen. Lots of people take those pieces along with the checkpoints and copy them out, prefab them out, do different options, share them with their friends, trying with competitive racing, try them with no checkpoints, try them with invisible checkpoints. Finally, 343 features one of the sets, makes it essentially our benchmark standard. It works out great because it's the same as Alpine Race. Duquesne23 did an excellent video on his YouTube channel called Race Game Type Tutorial. I recommend it highly. You may want to go watch it first. There's also excellent information in the discussion forums at Halo Tracks. Talked about it right since the day it came out. Halo Tracks 5.0. The brain tree and the checkpoints are exactly what we needed to set up these race maps. The ones I'm going to talk about today are not new inventions, even though, like Project Spark, they're all controlled by scripted brains. It's sort of magical. But they're not new inventions. They're prefabs and pieces that have been used by other map makers. They do use a lot of scripting. If your map includes other scripting, moving items, doors, pressure plates, these scripts are available to you. Script details. I'm going to cover the key items that are modifiable in the brain tree to let you make your race map your own, the way you choose. Our brain tree essentially has key controllers for the entire game type. When you go into your map, the default settings for any canvas are scripts enabled. We're going to switch them off. I recommend you do that for any map that you're adding scripts to. It's just a helpful safety feature. We've got several things to talk about. One of the other things you can preset in your map options is the objective primary and objective secondary colors. They are the checkpoints and the leader marker. Our brain tree consists of a terminal that's basically a reset test switch, a game manager, a mode manager, a first gate manager, a last gate manager, and a direction manager. And I'll stop there for a minute just to mention that those earlier items that are not highlighted are not our problem. We don't have to modify those. The ones above are the key features that we're going to talk about. The last gate manager controls the number of checkpoints in your main options. Spawn order 3. If your map has 5 checkpoints, use 5. The go manager controls the countdown, 3, 2, 1, go, and buckle up sound. Those options are controlled in action 1 of script 3. Then 4, 5, 6 control all the other steps of that countdown. We'll go over those later. We're also going to add a script into the player manager for the sound checkpoint that will be played when you hit the gate. The gate manager controls the checkpoint, and you can add a nav marker on action 3, the color and the word checkpoint if you choose. The leader manager helps us control, again with action 1, the color and the text above the leader's head. You also have the option of adding or removing that marker. There's our group of items. Hopefully we'll be able to do it. Checkpoints and spawning. These elements that I'm going to talk about next are prefabs that I've created in cooperation with some other Forge map makers. They are crucial to every kind of race map you might make, Mongoose, Warthog, whatever. We're going to do it on a blank map and show you how to set it all up. We've prefabbed pieces including the checkpoints, the initial spawns, and the respawn points for each checkpoint into 2 sections in one prefab. The green grid is the initial spawns. My favorite little mongoose, welcome to the Forge with Jammin' and Chill section of our video. This is just a blank desert map I built for this purpose, just to show how to set up checkpoints. First we're going to bring in our prefab, the Check 0 group prefab. We're going to spin it around so we get to see our front gate to our map. This is where we're going to start our drivers out here on this sand. Everything's preset to spawn order 0. That allows it to spawn at the beginning of any game type. We're going to disconnect the checkpoint and the respawns that are on the blue grid from the green one and leave the green one behind. I'll talk about those spawn zones that are also connected to the prefab. There's one that's left there behind with the starting line. I'm deleting a couple extra respawn points that I think are unnecessary since I'm not using kill zones on this map. We'll talk about that some more. Okay, I'm going to switch my spawn order to 1. Spawn order 1 will be considered my start-finish line for our race map. We're going to take it inside to the arena. Drivers enter the map, which we'll consider to be crossing the starting line. Once they've entered the map, they'll be led around the map by our checkpoints. We can tell them what, if we want to go on clockwise or counterclockwise, anti-clockwise. I'm just positioning this map into the map. I'm going to use this orange bridge over the entrance to be our start-finish line, or checkpoint 1. Now checkpoint 1 doesn't need to be crossed at the beginning of a race, but it is typically right in front of the spawn in position of your drivers, so they can see in front of them the point where the 3, 2, 1 countdown will appear, and that appears on the gate manager blue brain that goes along with their prefab set. Now I'm bringing the respawn zone out into the middle of this map, and then just flying up a little bit, and you can see the whole map. It's not big. It's not a very big map at all. That additional respawn zone that we have connected to the checkpoints is very helpful if you have a very large or stretched out map. Sometimes when a player would die or fall off, let's say on a sky track. Oh, we're editing time here. We're going to clip out 2 minutes and 32 seconds. I've placed checkpoint 1 already. Now we're going to place 4 more. So now I've got 5 checkpoints down. Didn't want to waste your time with that. Now I'm just going to go through and set their numbers. This is the second checkpoint, spawn order 2, ungrouped and deleting the grid. So for all intensive purposes, we've got checkpoint 1 at the gate, checkpoint 2 in the corner. We come around the bend to checkpoint 3, assign it spawn order 3 and delete the grid. There's a checkpoint, but that's not our 4th one. We're going to go further around the map to number 4. Grab it, change its spawn order. Ungroup it, lose the grid, unnecessary, just for reference. That was number 4. Now we come back around to this edge and it's number 5. Whoops, I deleted the grid before switching my spawn orders here. Yep, let me double check. We're going to select one marker, one gate manager, 1 respawn point, 2 respawn points. We're going to change those to spawn order 5. That's our last checkpoint. Notice I'm not making any special adjustments to the last checkpoint, which was part of some of the information that got out in December when we first got Race, that you had to do something different for the last checkpoint. I haven't found that to be true. Here are the respawn points. You at least want 1 for every checkpoint on your map. Fewer if you don't have the potential for death, more if you do have a lot of kill zones or a lot of falling. If it's a sky track, you may fall quite a bit. You're going to want more respawn points. I'm adjusting the markers so it's clear that you need to go across the bridge to cross the checkpoint. I'll put a checkered line there on top of the center of the bridge to show that that's where the start finish line is. I'm just narrowing it up so you don't score by going along the sides. You've got to go across the bridge. I think I'm going to regret that. There's checkpoint. There's checkpoint. We're done. 5 checkpoints, all set the spawn order correctly. We're flying outside back to our starting area. We've already ungrouped them, so I'm going to delete the grid, delete the decal. It's just decoration. At this point, we're done. I'm going to bring in the brain tree and spin it around and drop it on the map, and then we'll be able to run a test. Bing! Oh, I had a personal challenge. You get 10 minutes on the DVR. I just completed a 5 checkpoint race map in. Okay, we dropped that brain tree down pretty quickly after we put the last touches on the map. Let's do a quick test. See if activating the terminal starts our race.
Checkpoint. Buckle up.
That was wrong.
Checkpoint.
That was closer.
Buckle up.
shouldn't be a marker over my head. One more time.
Buckle up.
Excellent. Alright, checkpoints are working correctly. Again, the checkpoints are the gate nav markers. They just light up. They're just markers. The gate manager is the zone. The Braintree custom settings. These are the settings we talked about earlier really quickly that I gave away to the veterans. Here I'm going to go a little slower, take it a step at a time. Again, we're going over the highlighted items in application. Ungroup our set. I go straight to the last gate manager, set the spawn order to 5. That's the number of checkpoints we've just placed. That's our terminal for testing. That first brain is the game manager, not our problem. That's the mode manager, also nothing we need to fool with. First gate manager is preset for us, we don't need to mess with it. We just corrected everything we need to on the last gate manager. And the direction manager is not our problem, it's always set to go 1, 2, 3 consecutive. The go manager. Here is where we have the 3, 2, 1 go countdown. You're able to modify all of those options, the sound, the text, and the color of the marker. Or not have one at all and delete this green brain entirely. The first script, 6, is number 3. Second script, number 5, is text 2. I've changed the color to orange in this prefab. Number 1, script 3 has multiple. First it's got our color and the word go. It also has been modified to add the sound buckle up. My forge friend Arpod helped me by modifying that green brain a little bit for this prefab set. Thank you, Arpod. That's the go manager. Now we move over to the player manager. This is where we have the setting in script 3 to use the voiceover. Action 4 has been added here. Sound play checkpoint voiceover, and basically it's the announcer saying checkpoint. Now I set it to extra add. I believe player add is the correct setting, but extra has worked in the tests. On the player gate nav manager, our checkpoint brain, we can have the color of the checkpoint in the word. I'm going to shut off the title checkpoint to be none. The color there in script 3 is again held in the secondary, or I'm sorry, the primary objective. There it is. Now we move to the player leader nav manager. This is where we set the leader marker and the duration that it appears over the head of the leader every checkpoint. You can change that text from leader to anything you like. You can remove these actions. Now what I've done is I remove the action that turns off the leader marker and the weight. So now when the leader of the race hits the checkpoint, the marker will stay lit above his head until there's a new leader. Then it will change. Safety first. Save the map. We've made all of these adjustments to the Braintree. Now we should be able to test it and at least see right away if our checkpoints are changing the colors. Let me first go into the map options controls. These are your main map options and color coordinations. There's the objective primary. That's preset in the tree, but here's where you can modify it without monkeying with the brains. I'm going to change it to a shade of red. Kind of goes with the pattern inside our arena. Lava. The objective secondary, again, is referenced as the leader in the top blue bulb brain. Saving the map. She's a beauty. Scripts on. Bake the lights. Oh, excuse me there, Mongoose buddy.
Buckle up.
Wah, wah, wah. Where's your checkpoints, dude? Try it again.
Buckle up.
Beauty. Alright, moving on to the next phase. It's the map maker's option to include a start gate blocker at the beginning of their race. This feature provides an invisible wall stopping the players from crossing the start-finish line until the countdown gets to go. It can be used with other pieces grouped with the blocker. They're all on a script system, 2 scripts. Script 1, condition power check, channel golf, state on. The action is spawn, force on. No change to those options. Script 2, condition number check, scope global, channel golf, offset 0, operator equal, check, scope constant, value 0. The action's despawn. There you go, Timmy. I've already preset Timmy with this information. Now we're going to just make sure it's in there. Script 1, Swan. Script 2, constant, despawn. Alright, we are almost done and able to run some test laps. Safety first, let's save the map. Bake the lights and use the test terminal. We're also going to test the map with a few laps here shortly. Don't! Map options enabled scripts, so we can test disappearing Timmy. Alright, we've got 5 checkpoints. We adjusted that the checkpoints will be red. That's good.
Buckle up.
Alright, Timmy disappeared. We adjusted that the leader marker will be a different shade of yellow and will not disappear after 5 seconds.
Buckle up.
Scores! Alright, now we've got a start gate. Test laps consist of checking your map for flaws. You're making sure your checkpoints work in the right order. Do this with friends. Have fun. Get feedback from them while you're playing. If you can get on the headsets, great. If you can't, open up a party and go online. Have fun. Thank you for watching. Build more race maps.